Hi there, I'm Sandra. I've been happily married for 3 years when our eagerly awaited baby girl, Mandy, was born. We were both so determined to raise her together. But sometimes life throws you a curveball. On Mandy's very first birthday, which also happened to be a rainy day, my husband was involved in a car accident and sadly, he never made it home. Suddenly, it was as if my daughter and I were left alone in the dark. In our time of need, who were grieving just as deeply, were there to comfort and support me. I couldn't hold back the tears. One day, they said to me, "It's heartbreaking, but we're here to help. Let's raise Mandy together." They were right. My husband was gone, and I was now a single mom. After a period of mourning, I dried my eyes and threw myself into my work. I moved in with my in-laws, and my parents helped out when they could. I was determined to secure a good future for my daughter and worked tirelessly. Mandy became really close to my in-laws during this time. Still, whenever she called me mom and smiled, all the fatigue would just melt away. In time, my dedication started to pay off. 18 years after Mandy's birth, after years of non-stop effort, I couldn't hold back tears of joy watching her graduate from college. I was so excited that I even bought her a new dress for the ceremony. My in-laws were there too, equally moved. After we dropped her off for the graduation ceremony, we took a moment to appreciate each other's support. Mandy was planning to head home, change, and then celebrate with her classmates after the ceremony. "Sandra, you've been amazing. We truly appreciate all you've done for Mandy," my in-laws praised. "It all thanks to your support that I've managed to come this far," I responded. While running his own business, my father-in-law even helped babysit Mandy while I was at my part-time job, along with his wife. I poured everything into giving my daughter a good upbringing. And Mandy exceeded my expectations by attending a top-tier university. I managed to cover her tuition and extra study expenses. The next step was to see what career path she would choose after graduating. If she had a dream job, I had no reason to intervene. With her graduation approaching, I finally felt a sense of relief. Little did I know what she was thinking about me. When Mandy started the university, she moved out to live on her own. I'd visit her apartment now and then to check in and drop off some home-cooked meals. This routine continued until she graduated. "Thank you, Mom, for everything," she told me. Those words were reward enough for me. But my mother-in-law soon reminded me, "We still have celebrations ahead, Sandra. Let's have a great celebration when she gets married." I couldn't agree more. Her marriage isn't my decision, but if she decides to tie the knot, I would want it to be a grand affair. Just as I was getting used to this idea, 4 years post-college, Mandy introduced us to her fiancé, Ryan. She seemed absolutely smitten with them. He didn't talk much, but he respectfully asked us, "I'm looking forward to getting to know you more," with a warm smile. Mandy, practically glowing with happiness, clung to his arm and excitedly exclaimed, "Isn't it awesome? My fiancé!" It appeared they were already planning their wedding. When my mother-in-law asked about their plans, Mandy excitedly shared, "I want a big wedding. I want to invite all our friends and my coworkers." Knowing her, she'd be particular about the venue and the menu. But I've been saving money for her, so I'm ready to help out. And just like that, time flew by and Ryan left. That night, after my in-laws had turned in, Mandy, who was planning to stay over, told me she wanted to chat. Suddenly, out of the blue, she dropped the bombshell. "Mom, I have a favor to ask. I don't want you to come to the wedding." I was taken aback. I'm her mother. Can a mother be excluded from her own daughter's wedding? "What? Why?" I stammered, taken aback. Nonchalantly, she shrugged and let out a sigh. "Look, Ryan's family has a long lineage of nobility. For someone like me, Who doesn't have a father? Getting a chance to marry into their family feels like a miracle.
Did they say something about us being a single-parent family?
Ryan would never say something like that. His parents are good folks too. Stop making up strange things.
I wasn't sure why she suddenly snapped,
but I knew she trusted Ryan and his family. Some people don't get along with their parents or their in-laws, which had me a bit concerned. But if she held them in high esteem, I felt somewhat relieved. Yet, I was puzzled why she mentioned our single-parent status out of nowhere. When I met his parents, I mentioned my dad passed away in a car accident. They were sympathetic, saying it must have been hard. But it dawned on me then. When people say you've had it tough, it implies that I've struggled more because I don't have a father. Mom, did you ever think about remarrying? If you'd found a new husband, I might have a better life. I was so focused on my studies, I didn't notice, but maybe if I'd had a dad, I could have just relaxed and have fun every day. I worked tirelessly to ensure that my daughter never lacked anything because of our single-parent family. Therefore, I neither had the chance to consider remarrying nor the time to seek a new father for her. To bring this up now seemed a bit late. If she wanted me to remarry, she should have mentioned it. And Grandma and Grandpa told me you work as a janitor. If you'd remarried and my stepdad was bringing in money, my life could have been better. Isn't my hardship all your fault?
I always provided for her, be paying for her tutoring classes, driving around, or even covering her steep college tuition. And yet, she labeled it as a hardship. I felt as if she was dismissing all my hard work over the years. Could her previous thank yous and words of gratitude have been hollow? As I remained speechless, she sighed heavily.
What I mean to say is, I don't want a low-income janitor at my wedding. Do you understand? Ryan's family is quite prestigious, and I don't want to be embarrassed. It's okay for Grandma and Grandpa to attend. After all, Grandpa does run a company, albeit a small one. Plus, I think Grandma cares about me more than you do.
So, you're absolutely sure you don't want me at your wedding?
That's what I've been trying to tell you. I don't need a low-income janitor in my family. I'm going to marry into a proper family.
With that, she gave me a defiant look. All my hard work seemed in vain, and I began questioning what my life had amounted to. But I brushed it aside. After all, I had committed to ensuring she lacked nothing until she finished college. The course she chose as an adult wasn't my concern unless she sought my help. She seemed to have made up her mind to exclude me from her life, and I accepted. If, as an adult, she's made a conscious decision, it would be odd for me to intervene. All right, I won't come to your wedding. And since you don't want me in your life, should I take this as you are cutting ties with me? My words seemed to amuse her.
Actually, I was thinking of suggesting we cut ties too. It's like you read my mind. Please leave my life as soon as you can.
With that, she walked out of the house, seemingly unfazed by the late hour. After Mandy stormed out, for some reason, my in-laws were already awake. They gave me this sympathetic look. They took me in their arms. And for the first time in ages, I just let myself cry. A month has rolled by since then, and my in-laws and I are still sharing the same home. As for Mandy, she hasn't reached out to me, but apparently she's been keeping in touch with her grandparents. Mandy seems to want a $100,000 wedding. She's asking us to chip in. What should we do? Her husband responded with a definitive shake of his head. Weddings should fit a couple's budget. We're not funding this. We'll certainly give a gift, but we're not breaking the bank for it. When my husband and I tied the knot, we managed within our own budget, without anyone else's financial assistance. Maybe Mandy has gotten used to others picking up the tab. While she was at college, I used to send her money monthly so she could focus on her studies without needing a side gig and live by herself.
That could be why she doesn't grasp the idea of earning her own money. I began to wonder if I had somehow contributed to how she turned out. My mother-in-law then promptly dialed Mandy's number. "Mandy, I'm sorry, but we can't chip in. Your grandfather said weddings should be within your budget. Please, don't take this the wrong way. I'm going to hang up now." And she did, ending the call swiftly. Although Mandy is their beloved grandchild, they both seemed ticked off at her. It seemed they had heard her harsh words to me from the start about not inviting me to her wedding, and understandably, they were peeved. They knew how much I had poured into Mandy's upbringing and couldn't forgive her for dismissing my sacrifices. Moreover, Mandy was off base. There's no way I could have sent her to a top-tier university on a janitor's income. There's only so much you can make, no matter how many jobs you juggle. That's why I put the business management skills and knowledge I picked up while working part-time to good use by starting a cleaning company. Or started as a small team, but my father-in-law quickly contracted us for his company's cleaning needs. We did our job meticulously, and seeing our diligence, he recommended us to his business contracts, slowly helping me grow the business. We trained every new hire meticulously, ensuring they all had a solid level of cleaning skills. Our thorough and efficient work earned us a solid reputation. The cleaning company was finally stable, and I was considering contributing some funds of Mandy if Mandy were to marry. But now I'm not so sure. I suggested to my in-laws. What do you say we go on a trip together during my next break? My parents also said they've been longing to see you guys. That sounds great, especially with your parents. I can't wait to catch up. I'm in. I love sharing a drink with your dad. It's gonna be great. So, disregarding Mandy's wedding, we started gearing up for the trip. A few months passed, and the day of Mandy's wedding finally arrived. As my in-laws had decided not to attend, we were all set to embark on a trip the same day. After a fun day of sightseeing and settling into our hotel room, my phone rang out of the blue. I was surprised to see Mandy's name flashing on the screen, given we hadn't spoken in a while. I answered, and she blurted out, "Mom, come to the venue right now." I frowned. I don't even know where your wedding is. You labeled me as low income and asked me not to come. And now you're calling me? I shot back. She was less stumbling for words. But there was another voice on the line, a male voice. I thought I was marrying a woman with a CEO mom and a businessman granddad. And none of them are here? I thought I was marrying into money. I would recognize that voice anywhere. It was Ryan. Not only was I taken aback by Mandy's true colors, but I was also shocked to discover that the usually quiet Ryan harbored such thoughts. I'd heard that his family had a long lineage of nobility, but maybe that was just talk. Get here, quick! I'll text you the address. Sorry, no can do. I'm on vacation right now. Then, do you know where Grandpa and Grandma are? I've been nagging them to come to the wedding, and they are not replying. Oh, yeah. They mentioned blocking your number. They've pretty much washed their hands off you. But they did say they've mailed a letter to your place. A letter? I asked what it contained, and in a nutshell, it was them cutting ties because she's forgotten to appreciate her family. The letter said something like, "You're ungrateful even after all the financial support your mother has given you. We're not going to lend you any cash or continue family ties with someone like that. That's your grandparents' stance. I'm with them on this." After hearing the whole story, my parents also decided to cut ties with you. What? What am I supposed to do? I told Ryan you were not coming, and he lost it. He was banking on the money from your company. Well, if that's his take, he knew from the get-go that I was the boss lady. Seems like he wanted to marry you for the money, not for you. Exactly. He said there's no point in marrying me if I'm cut off from my family. He He might even break off the engagement.
A guy who's only after your cash isn't husband material. Even if you get hitched, it's probably not going to end well. I figured it wouldn't be the end of the world if they called the wedding off. I wasn't keen on playing mediator between those two. I've got nothing to do with this. Why not just call off the engagement? We're vacationing. Don't rain on our parade.
Please, Mom. I just need you to show up at the wedding. Please.
I hung up and blocked her number. There was no point keeping this conversation going. I found out what happened next from a mutual friend. A few of her college buddies attended her wedding, and I got the lowdown from one of their moms. The groom made quite a scene, saying he would call off the engagement if she didn't have any money, which made him look like a jerk. But when Mandy, consoled by a friend, said if only my mom had come and brought up my refusal to attend, everyone was thrown her a loop. She caught a lot of heat from her friends for acting all high and mighty after all the financial support she'd received for cram school, college, and living expenses. She finally realized her mistake and came by my place and loudly apologized at the front door, but I had no plans to let her in. From then on, every time she came over, she left envelope of cash. They were labeled, "I'll pay back the college fund, no matter how many years it takes. Thank you so much for everything." I think I would bury the hatchet when she'd settled the college fund.